episode Rewind. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And we're here to talk about, well, The Blacklist episode 3. So real quick before we jump into talking about the episode, if some of you know me from Collider videos, I was on the Blacklist recap show for
2 episodes.
Three episodes technically. So unfortunately, the odds were not in our favors, and our show got canceled and replaced with 2 other shows. If you want to know more about it, check out the Collider Twitter, Collider video. You can know everything you need to know about it in there. But I love the Blacklist so much, I can't see myself not talking about it. And lucky for me, I have a really awesome, understanding husband who also watches the Blacklist with me. So here we are. Okay, so we're gonna basically start off very similar format as what we were doing before, what we liked about the episode, what they could have done better, predictions for next week, so on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off.
Sounds good.
If that's okay with you. So this episode, they're after a blacklister, Eli Matchett.
Oh, yeah.
So at first I was kind of like, what is going on? Because this is the first episode in this season so far, and I know this is only episode 3, that they didn't jump back exactly where they started from, because it was kind of weird. Like they were in this cornfield, and I was like, what's going on? But there's this whole bigger.
The first and second episode were very much just following the storyline.
Exactly. But I like that there was a bigger picture, and of course, Red always has a plan. I love it. What I also love is that we did, after the opening scene, we did go right back into the Ressler and Tom confrontation.
I like the fact that they had a little bit of a review from last week.
Yeah, so it was perfect because it's been a week. We were busy, we forget.
I have to say, I actually like that as well. The little review on how they actually went back to the crate that Reddington had. It was just really cool to see that crate.
Best part, clock lights
done
in a container. Like, are you serious? Red is just awesome and resourceful, and even like a steel container can be luxurious. So another thing I really liked is Liz. Liz, I think, is really, really growing more and more in this season. I mean, she kind of fake shot, one of the gang members when she was trying to threaten information, and then she actually shot an undercover cop.
I think that's going to be a big jumping point for her, too.
Yeah.
Is the fact that now she's kind of like, well, okay, these things are going to happen.
Right.
People are going to get caught in the crosshairs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is going to be a nice little transition. It's going to show a little bit more depth to her character.
Exactly. And I feel bad. I see her right now as this, like, when you back a scared dog into a corner, they're going to bite. And that's exactly what happened in that situation. Because she pulled the trigger. Well, okay, to be fair to her, the guy had his gun pointed. He was probably going to shoot her. So she did it in self-defense anyways. And then she was still kind, and she was like, he's going to die if we don't get him to the hospital. She's still good. So, but I think she's starting to learn more and more that being with Red on the run is going to turn her into this person that she doesn't exactly want to be, but she really needs to be in order to survive. And
it's really nice because they also started to shift gears in this one. They started to change it from kind of like the following of the story, which is, Agent Keen's on the run, and then the whole thing at the embassy. Now it's kind of like, okay, we're going from defense to offense. And you really felt the shift of gears to where it's now it could very possibly go back into like an episodic kind of mode, to where it's now going to be Elizabeth and Red starting to take down little chunks of the cabal. So now it's going to turn into like another version of the Blacklist. Yeah. So they have their new little blacklist of things to cut out from the cabal.
Another thing I really liked too, and I think it almost kind of like an exaggeration of the society we live in today. So it's this company who created the GMO seeds, so they can kind of have monopoly on the farm and the plants and selling it. So they hire their own people to create a virus to take out the food source, just so they can create a cure, so they can be like, hey, we're the hero and we can make more money. Like,
it's a very cabal kind of situation.
It's a very cabal, it's totally cabal, and I almost, like, it scares me because I feel like somebody in our real world is probably thinking, they're going to see this episode and be like,
that's a great idea. We should do that.
We're done. That's it. So what about you? What are some of the things that you really liked about this episode?
I liked what I was saying before, how it's kind of now shifting back into what we love about the Blacklist, is all of these villains and all of these people that are on the list that they're going to start taking out. And at first, episode 1 and episode 2 were very much just the storyline continuing. But now we're going to start seeing Red and Elizabeth start going on the attack. And I'm actually very excited to start seeing this growth of their characters and their Elizabeth and Red starting to kind of come to an equal ground of who they are, what they're doing, and some of the consequences that are going to be coming.
Yeah. And I want to bring us back to Tom, too. At the end of the episode, we see Tom so desperately wanting to help, sitting at the restaurant,
Aww.
just like waiting for Liz to call for help, and it doesn't come. But you know who does come is Cooper. And I love the conversation between Cooper and Ressler where where Cooper lets on, they're having a casual conversation and was like, yeah, so Tom King reached out to me. I don't know, man, that guy, I don't trust him. No one trusts him. No one likes Tom, except for the fans of the show, except for the girls that are the fans of the show. It's like, oh, he's so cute. I think we're the only ones that actually like him. But I mean, I get it. They don't trust him. So, but I like that Harold kind of retracted his statement was to Ressler. First it was, you should listen. You know what, man? You're right. You should go with your instinct.
Yeah. And at first I thought it was like, oh, he's supporting him. He's trying to make it so, okay, no, whatever decision you make, we know that you're a noble kind of person. You need to feel confident about that choice. But that wasn't it. Yeah. It was the fact that he was like, no, you should use Tom. Wait a second. I could use Tom. I could use him more efficiently. No. Don't use him. You trust your gut. And then he goes around and starts using them.
I love that even though Cooper was demoted, and I was kind of worried when that happened that we're not going to see him in the episodes anymore, and I really, really like him as a character. But now I see that he is definitely going to still be playing a really big part in all of this.
He's going to start trying to do the dirty work.
Yeah.
Before, he was,
the legal dirty work, I guess.
Yeah, well, not even the legal dirty work. I mean, getting Tom is illegal. That's a fugitive. So he's going to do the things that are a little bit more stretching the law.
I don't think Tom's a fugitive. I think, didn't they have him go to court and they kind of let him go? There wasn't enough evidence against him or something. There was last season. I can't remember right now. But I don't think it's like technically illegal. But I don't remember. I could be wrong. Let us know in the comments if we're wrong.
If he's actually wanted or if there's a warrant out for his arrest.
Exactly. I have one more thing before we move on to the negatives. Look who's back, Pee Wee Herman, Mr. Vargas at the end of the episode. He didn't recognize it.
No, at first I was like, that kind of looks like Pee Wee Herman. And she goes, it is. I'm like, why is he? Oh, that's right. He had a few episodes.
Season 2, Mr. Vargas, who is so awesome and ruthless, but is afraid of the sight of blood. Like what? He's like Kingsman. He's like Samuel L. Jackson's character in Kingsman. Yeah, I love that he's back. Now he is with Dembe, tortured, poor, beaten up Dembe. And I guess from that we can kind of segue into the negatives.
Okay.
From there.
So what is one of the things that actually really bugs you about the...
I don't like that Dembe is stuck and beaten up. It makes me so sad, and it's like I feel that he's either waiting for Red to come to his rescue because there's literally nothing he can do. But it breaks my heart because Dembe is such an important character to the show. And I'm just so worried as a fan that he's going to get killed off. But now they brought in Mr. Vargas. And I think maybe Mr. Vargas will be the first to go. And he maybe can be Dembe's ticket out. Like maybe he'll sacrifice himself to get himself out.
Maybe, but they're kind of setting... That's one thing that's kind of scaring me too. Is they're kind of setting up Dembe to die this hero's death.
Yeah.
To where... The next couple episodes, I think, are going to be the rescue of Dembe. But the thing is, though, they're kind of setting them up to where, they've beaten him, they're torturing him, they're bringing in his friends, and I think they're really going to show, I hope they don't kill him. I'm really scared about that.
Fingers crossed. Somebody in the comments last week said that he's been upgraded to a series regular.
Oh, really?
So that could mean that he's saved, because we know that's usually how American TV works, but these writers, they're completely unpredictable, just like the show, so you never know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're going to give you regular rate, and then we'll kill you in, episode 15 with 5 more episodes, or, 6 more episodes to go, so who knows?
I mean, he could make a certain amount of appearances and then die by the mid-season finale.
Don't do it. I love Dembe.
So, he just adds such a richness to the storyline, and since you don't know the history between him and Red, you're just like, what's there? Why is it there? Why is he so protective of Red.
Another thing that really bugged me, it shouldn't bug me, but Mr. Solomon, last week we saw that in order to torture Dembe, he had to like take off his shirt. And then so to like talk to Dembe, he is shirtless, but he puts his like suit jacket back on. Like, who does that? Like, if you're gonna be shirtless, I know it's a weird girly nitpicky thing. Just humor me. Let me have it. And then I don't know if he's afraid of germs or something, but he like lays down to get kind of eye level with Dembe, and he puts his handkerchief down. Then he lays on it so he doesn't get himself dirty. And I was like, you're torturing people. You probably have blood splatter all over your shoes and pants, and you're worried about sitting on the ground.
I actually thought that was a nice little character touch.
It's like the way he's classy.
Is the fact that he's a little classy, and honestly, he doesn't want to get his very expensive pants dirty.
Villains.
So I think it's a nice little twist,
it is a nice
and
little...
kind of that there's a little bit more behind that. I think that's kind of revealing.
You can hate about him. Like, he's a killer and he's prissy.
And it's one of the things that I don't like are like the little things. Like how they figured out the punch code by blowing dirt.
Oh my god! Yeah, I wrote that.
What?
So when Red and Liz were breaking into the farm, and Liz is like, "There's so many possibilities," and Red's like this, and he doesn't even like try to like put the dirt on the pan. He just blows it. I was like, okay, well, this is the most unrealistic moment of the show that I've seen thus far.
It's like, really, you couldn't have just like picked a lock.
And then on top of that, it wasn't like the dirt just lightly covered those pads. Like,
they were big.
Did the person who entered the code have really, like, they were eating peanut butter and they had really sticky fingers or what? Because it was like a chunk of dirt, and I was like, oh well, yeah, because that's possible.
But then again, it's one of those little nitpicky things that you're kind of like, it's really not that important.
It takes you out of the moment a little bit, yeah.
There was another moment that really took me out of it.
What's that?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, you think about that.
That's the whole thing. I'm like, there was another moment. I was hoping that you remember, because I think I said it when we were watching it. I was like, oh, come on.
Okay. You think about that.
Oh, that's what it was.
Okay, you remembered.
Okay, so the other thing was when the guy was running out with the virus. He's running through the bushes pretty much with the virus in his hands. And I'm just like, if you break it, you don't have to twist it open. There's all complicated top. If you really want to spread the virus, you break it or chuck it into the woods or
something.
Or something. There, you don't. It's like, I'm going to deliberately slow down by twisting.
It's like the stormtroopers that always miss their target every time. Yeah, that bugged me a little bit too. He did try, like, right after you said it, he literally was like, have his hand on the jar before Ressler tackled him. Let's talk about Ressler. Let's talk about how much Ressler, they're trying to make Ressler into this all-star agent. When he faces off with Tom King, and in my mind, I'm going to justify it like Tom King let him do it. So he was kind of like, hey man, and like does some like disarming movement and shoves Tom King against the wall, and where Tom King's like, hey, easy man. Which is why I think, like he's an assassin. He's just letting Ressler feel kind of good so he can trust him. But I was like, in all reality, we've seen what Tom King can do. And we've seen what Ressler can do. There is no way that Tom would have just been so easily disarmed.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. That Tom was just like, okay, whatever. You can manhandle me a little bit. I just want to help. Elizabeth.
Exactly. And then Demolition Derby Ressler is back.
How many cars has this guy gone through? Every single episode, he destroys like 2 or 3 cars. Because I think he got the car that ran the truck off the road, and there was another car that he ran into.
It was like the SUV last week. You didn't see the episode last week, but it's just like that's what he's really, guys. That's what Ressler's
he just
really
likes
good at.
Destroying cars.
It's like he majored in Demolition Derby. It gets him off or something.
That'd be an awesome diploma to be able to get in destroying cars. I'm not a big fan of Ressler. I'm really not. I'm finding him annoying. This whole conflict of, I don't want to ask Tom for help because of he's a criminal. Right. But then I'm like, you could still use him. I mean, you've seen your superiors use people before in a good way.
Straight lace and like vanilla. It's. I mean, they try, and he has some redeeming moments. So far, like very little, but they're kind of there. I don't know. I mean, it's episode 3, so we'll maybe see him grow a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, is that they're going to make him grow more and more situations are going to come up to where he really does question, but it's the fact that he needs that proof. And that's what's bugging him the most, is the fact that, well, right now my superiors are saying arrest Elizabeth, but I need that proof in order to come to them and say, no, she's innocent, even though I know she is.
Yeah. Just being a little
too Boy Scoutish.
Yeah, a little very Boy Scoutish.
Bugging me a little bit.
What are some of your predictions for what's going to happen in the next episode?
So I think the next episode is pretty much going to be the rescue of Dembe.
Okay.
Red's going to drop everything. Elizabeth's going to drop everything.
Because that jelly bean guy found him.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to be like, oh crap, we have to save Dembe and we have to do it now. So I think within the next 2 episodes, either Dembe will be rescued and things will be back to normal, and they'll have kind of an inside who is the new villain kind of thing, because Dembe will tell them.
Yeah.
And, or they're going to try to rescue Dembe and he's going to die. And I don't want to, but it's up there.
I'm kind of looking forward to hopefully maybe Mr. Vargas and Dembe kind of teaming up and trying to MacGyver their way out of that situation.
That'd be cool.
I don't know if it's possible, but it would be pretty cool, because that's 2 really badass people in one room. Even though it was a little disheartening when Mr. Vargas looked at Dembe and was like, hey, we're going to die in here. Like, he knew. But sometimes when people accept their fate like that, like they feel like there's nowhere to go, there's nothing to lose, they can come out of it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And I'm also excited to see exactly what Tom's next thing's going to do, because we see Cooper handing him that file. Like, if you really want to help, you have to go after Carter. Tom's kind of like, I will do anything to help her. And it was that desperation. And when Harold showed him the file, it turned from desperation into determination. Like, I'm gonna get this guy, and I'm gonna free Liz.
And he knew exactly how to use Tom.
Yeah.
It was, here's your target, go fire. Because he just said to
that's his job.
To Ressler was the fact that he was saying, he's a loose cannon.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is, with a loose cannon, point him in the right direction and fire. And then just hope for the best. And that's how he's using Tom.
Yeah.
Here's your target, go, kill.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm also loving that the more and more Liz and Red spend time together, the more and more relationship development we see, and just there's so much heartfelt conversation going on. Usually it's at the end of the episode, but it's like I feel like they're learning so much more about each other because they're forced to be together. Because otherwise, she really doesn't have a soft spot for Red when she was on the right side of the FBI. Now that she's on the wrong side of the FBI, I think I love that their relationship is growing. And I am still trying to figure out whether or not they're related. Okay, so we'll do this at the end of every show. What percentage chances you think Red is actually her father?
I still don't think he is. I think there's a deeper relationship. Either it is he is his mom's handler, or he is somehow in love with his mom, and it's kind of like a whole Snape thing.
Yeah, that's possible.
But I think there still might be that possibility that, Red is really Elizabeth's dad. So
what percentage are you at?
I'm going to say probably around like 35, 40%.
35, 40? That's so low.
I think it's pretty low. Wow. Because that story's kind of played out, and it's kind of like the whole idea is that Elizabeth killed her father. And then if they say, well, Red's your father, then it's going to be not as impactful. And yet they've spent 2 whole seasons building up this secret of you killed your father.
Okay, I'll give you that, and I agree with you to that point. But I think what he said to her last week at the end was, Lizzie, you are my North Star. When I'm with you, I am home, or you're my way home, or something like that. And if you were not somehow related to her, there is no way you can have that deep of connection and that much affection for somebody. With the exception of, like, maybe he was in love with her mom and he kind of treated Liz like his own daughter. And, it's kind of the love of her mother, for her mother, flowing through. Yeah. So that's a possibility. But for me, my percentage is at 70. 70% that Red is her dad. Watch it be debunked next week because they say something else. I don't know. Who knows? But that's the game we play. So guys, write in the comments below what percentage you think Red is Liz's dad. Let us know your theories.
You're going to go my way? There's no way. But
37, 35, 70. We'll see.
But this is another thing. If you look at the correlation between what Liz is now and what Red is, I think Elizabeth is the next generation of Red. I think what happened to Red,
Yeah.
he was a good person.
Yeah.
He was by the books. He stumbled upon something corrupt and evil, and he had to run to this dark world. He has to now live in the dark world, becoming a little bit dark himself. And now you kind of see that with Elizabeth. Straight arrow, worked for the government, is caught up in this corruption. Then now she's going to have to go to the dark, and now she becomes a little bit more dark herself. I think she's going to end up becoming Red 2.0, so to speak.
Well, I guess we'll see as the season goes on.
There's
It's
always
good. That's
some
a good
juicy
theory.
tidbits to think about.
All right, guys.
Ever since season 1, you're just like, oh, could it be this? Could it be that? It's so, I love it. That's why I love this show.
It's a good show. That's why we're talking about it. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you like this episode, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It's somewhere here,
We'll put it
there. And if you want to talk to us throughout the week, until the next episode, you can tweet us. You can find Dustin at...
You can find me on Facebook at SwingKid.
No, Facebook is just your name.
No,
honey.
Facebook is Dustin Zaney. Twitter and Instagram are at SwingKid1981.
And for me, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wendy Lee Zaney. To tweet us so we can find your questions, use hashtag Blacklist Rewind. I just made that up on the spot. It doesn't exist until now. Cool.
Also, give us your thoughts. What are some of your guys' crazy theories about this show? About how I had that theory that it's the next generation of Red. What are some of your crazy theories out there? It's always cool to get these different ideas of, oh, I never thought of that. So tell us, comment below, write us, and we'll probably talk about it next week.
See you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Yes.